Take the letter.
Okay, so we're here at the Finance Committee meeting for an emergent meeting of the Finance Committee. Everybody has an agenda in front of them. So today is Wednesday, March 6th, 2024. The time is 6:07. So the purpose of the meeting is simply one line item. Under old business, we're talking about the DPW special legislation.
Pass to the chair.
And under new business, we're looking to read. Everybody's got that.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has it?
Yeah, and it's an amended copy, so.
Oh, it's amended.
Just slightly, so don't confuse the papers.
Oh, thank you. I
Okay.
apologize. I thought we...
Okay. All right, so the new business item is to approve a draft letter to the governor. So just to bring everybody up to speed with the special legislation, as you know, when we have a report from the Whitman DPW Building Committee, I often refer to the special legislation. And it has been since October 30th that the town petitioned the legislature to, and the governor especially, to file on behalf of the town of Whitman to validate the actions taken by the town at the May 20th, 2023 annual town election. So apparently the legislation was presented to both the House and the Senate. It has gone through 3 readings in each. And Rosemary and I took a ride to the State House last week when we heard that there was an issue, a legislative issue, with the legislation. They cited Article 89, and basically while we were in Governor Brady's office, when we were in Senator Brady's office, Rosemary, you can chime in anytime too, we were told that Article 89 precludes the petitioning of the legislature from the executive branch of the local government. So, in a sense, the legislation needs to go directly to the governor to file for the legislation. So, it's unfortunate that so much time has gone by, but, it's clear what needs to be done. So, Rosemary and I, in the office of Senator Brady, did talk to State Representative Allison Sullivan, and we were given actually some information on how to go about meeting with the governor's aide and petitioning them directly with this, with our concern. So, subsequent to that, we drafted a letter that I had emailed out earlier. I did send a copy to the town administrator, Mary Beth Carter, and to Selectman Kane, who's here in the meeting with us tonight. So that's kind of like the short story. Rosemary, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I do want to add. It has been a standing. Sort of agenda item on our thing because of its massive financial impact to not get this done correctly. It is a shame that it went all the way to the point through the House, the Senate. This is 6 times. As in the letter, I don't want to point to anyone, but it is our duty, a sworn duty, to uphold the representation, the recommendations, or the will of the people, as well as financially, the well-being of the people of Whitman financially. And we, as citizens and a citizen board, should be supporting all efforts of what the people voted in this regard, particularly when it has such a large financial impact to not follow through on. So I thank you for calling me and having me drive in, because I'm great with you. And I appreciate the efforts put forward to make sure that we don't have further financial stress.
Okay, so one more thing I just want to add to that is, as I am on the building committee for the DPW building, this is something we also talk about at each meeting. It's actually like the elephant in the room, and we had the kickoff meeting last week with the general contractor. Obviously, general contractor is significantly concerned about being able to proceed at the pace and at the schedule that he has established for himself. So right now we're working with $1.2 million that's available. But until we can bond the rest of the money, we will be out of money before the end of April. We have heard that there are requisitions from the general contractor in excess of $300,000 for work that's already been done, and the expectation is work that started last week and is going to go through this month will total another $360,000. So as you can see, that won't get us very far into April if we can't go out to bond with the remainder of the money.
Just a point of clarification there. So when we sign these contracts, we are financially liable. Is that correct? We
Right. Well, so I'll to be a little more specific, and I don't want to get into too many details because, like I said, I wanted to keep this meeting brief. We have Al via telephone, and I don't want to keep him either while we have a quorum. I would like to make sure we have time to vote. But certainly, anybody that has questions, I want them to get answered. But what was specifically?
Specifically, we've already Friday. We broke ground.
Right.
And we can't borrow.
So the contractor does have a limited notice to proceed. It's been amended several times. I mean, here again, we're using town council, obviously, to draft these letters and amendments to the notice to proceed in the absence of having the full funding. So the latest letter to proceed does protect the town. It gives certain things that the contractor can and cannot do. And one very specific thing was that he can't demo any buildings. I'm sure the contractor had that in his plan of, for this month, or at very least in April. They can't certainly work on a new building without taking the old building down. So
why would the town send through the attorneys a stop taking down this old building letter? It's a peculiar move. I guess what I'm saying is, no matter what, we're going to have to pay this builder.
Right.
So if we don't build this building, this is money thrown away. And this is a building we're going to need.
Okay.
We're going to need.
All right, let's let Al chime in. Go ahead, Al.
Al, you've got the floor.
No, I totally agree with you. We're going to pay for it. This is not resolved.
The best financial path forward, long term, to pay the cheapest amount for the building and not pay for fluff, nothing, red tape, politics, nothing, is to push forward and to support the will of the people, the vote of the people, and what is being said as the selectmen's will as well, and Mary Beth in support of that. And I would ask that we send this letter.
Okay, I'm going to hear from Sean. Sean did send some emails with concerns and actually a petition that we not send a letter. So I guess it's a good opportunity, Sean, since you're here, to hear from you.
Yeah, I obviously agree with everything that's been said so far. I mean, this is a major priority for us and a major concern. My question is more about we have a town administrator who's in direct contact with the legislation and the bond council and sometimes even the town council. So they have she has a direct conduit into what's going on right now, and she has communication and she's working on it, and it seems like she's making progress. So to interrupt some of that progress can just potentially hinder the.
Yeah. So I answered you in 3 emails to say that, we appreciate your concerns. And it's clear that this isn't an effort to usurp what Mary Beth is doing on behalf of the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, I never
this
took
is
it that way.
supplemental to that effort.
Yeah.
And I think it's somewhat derogatory to think that the Finance Committee can't communicate directly
To the
with our legislators
with
as
our
well.
legislators.
So, I mean, anybody can go into the State House and talk to.
That's how it's set up.
Yeah, I'm not saying
for that
you
purpose.
can't. Or
Well,
what I'm saying is, right now,
Wait a second.
Well, wait a minute, Al.
I'll get to the floor in a minute. Sean has the.
Sean is still speaking, and then we'll get to you, Al.
I'm not saying you can't, or I'm not saying that you're trying to usurp what the Board of Selectmen is doing. I'm saying this is a sensitive issue, and we need it done as quick as possible.
Well, it's
and we
gonna-
have somebody who has a direct conduit into what's going on, and the feedback that she's getting is positive, and that they're making progress. And there has been, well, I think when you guys went to the State House to ruffle some feathers in order to get this done or whatnot, that can potentially hinder the process, and that's my
Yeah,
concern.
I am totally in disagreement, but we're going to go to
Yeah,
Al because he has a
that's not
question.
true.
Rosemary, let Al speak.
Al, you've got the floor.
Hi, Kathleen. How are you, buddy? What did that state senator say? Rick, does he say anything, or is he just doing nothing?
We actually spoke with him on the street out here in front of Town Hall yesterday. As
Obviously, it was election season, I guess.
Right.
He wasn't
Yeah.
for Whitman.
So
By all means.
he is very committed to making sure that this legislation goes through. But we have no idea, Al, if there's some other force that's working against behind the scenes this legislation. For somebody to be from Whitman and to be taking that tact is unconscionable to me because we're losing $2 million. You know.
So
Now, what does Allison Sullivan said? Has she said anything?
She's also working directly with Mary Beth to bring this to the attention. And again, it turned the day we went in the State House, Al. This turned from a act of the legislature to an act of the governor, and that's where it has to go. So this letter simply gives a little bit of a boost to, and it.
What is that? What my thoughts are. What is Allison saying? Is she giving us real answers or nothing?
Well, when Rosemary and I, just for example, when Rosemary and I were in the State House, we were in the office of Senator Brady, and we spoke to Allison by phone, and she, I asked her directly, would our petitioning the governor in any way hinder this process? And she said no. So we have it from both the senator and from the Representative Allison Sullivan that this needs to go to the governor's desk, and this letter just amplifies and puts it into context from a financial perspective to the town.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Well, I'm saying
we're
I'm
not
also.
getting much support from our legislators, correct?
So
Well,
No,
Al, that's not totally true. It's just that the amount of time that has gone by, 4 months,
Yeah,
when Mr. Kane says that they're making progress, 4 months elapsed in this time schedule. That's not progress. So what I'm saying is this is going to be supplemental to what the work that the town administrator is doing with the governor's office.
I want to make a point of how inappropriate it is to have anybody, open government, to say only one person talks to the. It has government upside down. The people are the bosses, and the servants are the legislators.
All right, but you know what, Rosemary?
Let me just stop, please.
Make it quick, because I
Make it
want
quick.
Al
So
to
I
be
just
on the
want
phone
I
for
want
both.
the ask to say only the legislators should be looking for the public will. They should be looking at the vote of the people. And if only one person is the conduit and can only speak, it leaves room for obstructing the people's will. It's quite the opposite you're asked.
All right, let Kathleen go.
Chuck, do you have a question?
I would just like to back up a lot of it, and just let's get to the root cause. And if you could give a quick synopsis and explanation of what got us here to this point, because
Oh, okay. So
I think that would
way
be
back,
beneficial for
okay.
anybody.
So I guess the wording, according to bond counsel, and it's spelled out in the letter, according to the bond counsel for the town, that a reference to the election should have been made at town meeting ballot warrant article. And because that was absent, that's when bond counsel recommended that the town get this special legislation. So,
Okay.
And then it just becomes a
Yeah.
matter of process. You know, how it's going to get there apparently became the issue. So it evolved.
Okay, so if I'm going to think out loud, so for me, from my standpoint, hey, this sounds like a little red tape thing, something that wasn't worded properly, but clearly the intent was there. Everybody knew, the town meeting voted to support this, and now as finance committee members, we see the ramifications of what this stalling out of the process could present, and what it could do to us. And the bottom line is, the people voted for it, and we need to get it going. I think, me personally, like you said, amplify. I can't see this being taken in any other way that just regular people wanting to get the job of the people done. Trying to make sure that we don't fall into a situation that becomes detrimental to the town and all the work everybody has done.
Yeah.
So I totally support it.
Okay, and Kathleen?
Okay, so building on what Chuck just said, which I agree with completely, I'd like to make a motion that we send this letter to the governor, signed by the representatives of the chair, the vice chair, and Rosemary Conley as the person who visited the State House, expressing our support for this legislation that will fund the DPW building.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, Al. We're gonna go to a voice vote. All right, we'll start with you.
Al, how do you vote?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Chuck?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Al, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll keep you updated to the progress like I said, I am on the building committee, so you'll get a full report next week.
Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
Good night, bye.
Good
All
night.
right, so here's the original to be signed, if you can.
Oh, I just signed, is that the one that you passed around?
No, that's the one.
See you guys. Have a good night.
All right, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Sean. All right, we don't want to mix this up with anything, right?
Yeah, I
That's
did
the
my
important-
signature.
that the
in the
important
very
one?
way. I'll know
Yeah,
that-
so the only thing that changed in this was actually,
I thought, I took
This is the
draft-
one you want.
This is the one he wants signed.
the only reason why, it's because in this sentence it says, employees endure building conditions that include substandard restrooms, improper accessibility, structural decay. Oh, and the old one said, accessibility. So it just says improper accessibility.
Okay.
So it
I
just
just-
added that.
That's fine. I just am so uncomfortable by that it's gone to the 6th vote.
Yeah, I know.
And that we're still saying, let the people who haven't done it step back.
Right.
I mean, and then at the same time, the delay of the building, not to knock the building down. I could see an avenue in which
There could be possible litigation from the general contractor. There's a possibility.
and that
Cha-ching.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the only item that's on the agenda, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
I second.
All in favor? Al says yes?
Al says yes.
Okay, thank you very much.